Hey, friend, welcome back to another episode of Ash to Dusk. This is your midweek moment, a reminder that it's okay to take a pause and figure out, am I on track to finish the week strong and where I was originally headed, or am I completely in left field and I need some course correcting? So, if you are having a week like me, it has been busy, it's been fast and furious, and here we are midweek already, and really the middle of January, which is so hard for me to believe. And I'm sitting here in my new office. Um, and our midweek moments are way more casual than my Sunday episodes, the long form episodes. But I'm sitting out here, and this is our old sunroom, which is really, it's not even like a Four Seasons room or anything like that. I have like space heaters to keep it warm during the winter. But it's beautiful, especially on days like today when the sun is out. And I've talked about this so much on social media, but in Northeast Ohio, the sun, I feel like, likes to hide for a good part of the better part of like 5 months of the year. And that might sound dramatic. And yes, it comes out once in a while, but I have friends in LA and Florida that see the sun more often than they don't. So I am just so grateful that it is shining today. And if it keeps moving, it's going to come really on my face for this video. So we'll see how that goes. But I wanted to check in with you. How are you doing? I hope that you've been enjoying the wellness edit. So today, our second wellness edit has dropped, and it's all around hydration. I kind of explained this a little bit in my other episode, but I am so blessed to be surrounded by friends and colleagues who are dietitians, who are experts in the field of nutrition, but who also practice what they educate on. They practice taking care of themselves. And if you've been following me for years, you know that I ebb and flow in this. I kind of I go all in and I get healthy again. I get my blood pressure under check, and then life happens. I get excited about something with work. I kind of dive into that. And then I forget to take care of myself, or I make all the excuses for why I don't have time. And I am just so excited that I get to share their knowledge with all of you. I know that it's hard to afford to meet with a dietitian regularly. And no, this isn't one on one consulting, like coaching for your personal diet, but I hope that it's a great resource for you to kind of kick off this year believing that you are worthy to be healthier. And that sounds a little bit crazy, but when I think about my own struggles and why diets don't ever work or why I always go off track, it's because I've never believed that that should actually be a priority, that it's like I need to work, I need to work, I need to work, and I need to take care of my family, and I will come last. It's okay, it's not a big deal. And somehow we think we're going to stay young forever. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed the wellness edit so far. And I was thinking about this the other night. I actually did a social media post on this. And I was thinking about, just as a young girl, my grandparents, we lived right beside my grandma and grandpa. And I learned so much from them. Like, do you have like a childhood memory of somebody who you felt like they taught you so much of what you know today, but really their work ethic and all that is kind of embedded in you. And that was my grandparents. That's where I got my work ethic from. And I was just kind of like scrolling through pictures and reminiscing and just thinking about my past. And I remember, and I was thinking about like when I was a kiddo, I was different than a lot of kids. And what do I mean by that? I was always so much more older than my age. And adults would say that all the time. Like, you're so mature, you're so beyond your years, you act so much older than you are. And so it was hard for me because I had friends, but my friends wanted to play. My friends wanted to like go and have fun, and I wanted to like have deep conversation. I wanted to just stay in. Like, I didn't care about going out. Like, I remember going to my friend's house in Florida. Okay. I was like 15 years old. I flew down by myself, hung out with her for the week. And she was a little bit older than me. So she was old enough to drive. And we got fake IDs and went out to the Paris Hilton nightclub in Orlando. And let me tell you, I was a nervous wreck that whole night. Okay. I was freaking out. Oh my gosh, we're all underage. We're going into these bars. Like, it was so uncomfortable for me. And I kept thinking, like, wow, they're just having so much fun. And I'm not. And there's something wrong with me for that. Right. And so, anyways, I just always struggled with my identity growing up. And I didn't know how to articulate that honestly until now in my 30s. It's like I get it. I was older than my age, but it was hard to relate to other kids. I actually enjoyed sitting down and just talking to grown-ups. Like, I enjoyed that. I know it sounds so crazy, but so I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how I love to work. I started working when I was 14 years old and I worked two jobs. I worked so that I could buy my house at 18 and have a car and all those things. And I'm grateful for the work ethic that my parents and my grandparents instilled in me. But it left me thinking about some conversations I've had with friends and family lately. And it's just like, you feel like every so many years, like maybe like every 7 years or so, you kind of go through like this phase of like, who am I and what do I really want in life? And my kids are growing up now, and now what's next? Or I'm just now getting started having children. And you kind of go through these like moments every so often where you kind of start thinking about those things again. And I want you to know something. If you are going through a period right now, like how I did as a child, and honestly, I still, as an adult, go through this, right? Like, my sisters and friends, they want to have fun. And yes, we're raising children and all that. But when they're done working, they don't want to talk about work anymore. I could talk about work 24/7. I could. And I am okay with not going to the bars. I'm okay with just sitting at home. I'm okay with like not having the quote unquote fun that other people are having, because my fun, my enjoyment comes from building something that I'm passionate about and helping other people. So I want you to hear this. If you're in that moment right now where you're just trying to figure out who you are and what you want next, sit with it for a minute. Sit with it. Don't feel like there's something wrong with you if you're not fitting in with somebody else. Maybe you're just changing and evolving, and what was fun for you and the person you thought you were is just becoming something different. You're evolving, and that's okay. But just kind of sit with it for a minute and maybe journal about it. Where do you hope to be? What does excite you about life? And what do you want to leave behind? What's not serving you anymore? Because there's something so freeing about knowing that it's okay to just be your authentic self. It's okay to just step into the woman, into the person that you are truly becoming. And I believe we're becoming a newer version of us every single day, because if we're not growing, then what's happening, right? We're just kind of stale. I want you to take that into this week as you're finishing this week strong. And that is, there's nothing wrong with you if you're in this period or phase of life where you're not fitting in with everyone else. If you're kind of questioning your identity in terms of like, what am I supposed to be doing now that my kids are older, now that I'm starting a family, or I wish or hope to have a family and my biological clock is ticking. Like, just whatever that is for you, I want you to kind of sit with it for this week and give yourself permission to dream about anything, even if it doesn't feel possible or realistic. I want you to write down, if money wasn't a limitation, if my work wasn't a limitation, if my family wasn't a limitation, and it was kind of like sky's the limit, I could do whatever I want, what would it be? And kind of start there and work your way back to what can you do right now to move towards that. So that's our little midweek moment. I'm so thankful that you're here. I was running the podcast numbers, and we have crossed over 4,000 downloads and listens since we started this just 25 episodes ago. Really, it's only been a couple of months. So I cannot thank you enough for being here. If you have not already subscribed to my email, go to ashleymarina.com to do that. Also, follow me on social media, because we are always giving out valuable content to help you in your health and wellness journey, but also in your leadership journey as well. All right, my friend, until we meet again, keep your light burning from ash to dusk.